Yeah, we're in the building. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sam I Am Viral Podcast, episode 5. I definitely appreciate you guys who are tuning in during the early stages in the creation of this podcast. Definitely appreciate those who have supported early. You guys got a nice head start because we are in the beginning of something special. And I feel that we had two great interviews last week. I had my brother Ali Abden on 1500 Entertainment, as well as my brother Jamal Dennis, both of which were alongside me on the film Where Loyalty Lies, where 1500 Entertainment created the film, produced the film, and Jamal and I had the pleasure to co-star in it together. So definitely awesome talking and chopping it up with them brothers. Definitely learned something different, even though I spent a lot of time with them too the last few years. Definitely learned some new things, and I'm hoping that I got to introduce my audience to new stories and new ways to navigate through your journey. And you're going to hear journey a lot throughout this podcast. If you go ahead and tune in on this podcast, whether you're listening in the morning, whether you're listening in the evening, driving home, whatever the case may be, journey is going to be the center point of all these episodes because this is what this shit is all about. And throughout our conversations, or my conversations, I should say, with Ali and Jamal, a couple of things that I realized I want to talk about today was how I deal with rejection and how I dealt with failure and how I deal with losing and how you have to be able to have tough skin in this industry and have tough skin when dealing with such adversities in life. You know what I'm saying? And I've had to deal with it, and I'm not the best at dealing with those things. And I can be completely transparent and honest with you guys in saying that I'm a work in progress in that myself. And I had to take it back to when I was a kid. Never liked to lose. I hate losing. I can admit that I am a sore loser. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I can remember back in the day, it was probably 7 or 8 years old at a church retreat, Greater Love Chapel Church, right up the street from where I live now, still sitting there today. Family was members of that church at one point, and during this church retreat, we had different events and different activities for the kids to do, and one of these events were racing. And if you knew me at that time, I loved to win. I loved to be first place. I had my sights set on 2 certificates at the end of these events, one in the 50-yard dash, one in the 100-yard dash that they were going to present at the dinner of that church retreat during the evening. And I could not wait to get my certificates and be applauded by the entire congregation. I seen that shit before it even happened. Had it in my mind. It was visioned. It was there. Never in my wildest imagination would I lose either one of those races. I wasn't accustomed to losing. It wasn't something that I liked. It wasn't something that I handled well. So I wasn't even thinking about it. So we get out there, 50 meters, 50 yards, no fucking meters. Ain't nobody be able to measure meters. We knew what yards. It was a 50-yard dash. And that was measured by one end of the blacktop to the other. All right, it's 50 yards. Run, go. All right, cool. So my main competition during these races was dude by the name of Warren. May Warren rest in peace. I believe Warren has passed away now. This little motherfucker was fast, man. I'm talking about fast. I knew a couple of the dudes. I knew that we've raced prior to it. You know what I'm saying? We've had our prelims or whatever the case may be. I knew I had them on lock. But Warren was the wild card. I had to come out and smoke if I was going to beat Warren. So we get on the blocks, which is just us getting on your mark, get set, and go. You know what I mean? And my aunt says, go. My aunt Hattie's the referee. Go. I take the fuck off. Pew. And I get out the blocks hot. And I knew it. I said, you know what? I was a little taller than Warren at the time. My legs, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't catch the stride. And me getting out the blocks the way I got out the blocks, it was impossible to beat. So I took that one, 50 yards, bang, in the hole. But I wasn't satisfied yet because I didn't want just one certificate during this church event. God damn it, I wanted 2. Needed 2. So we get ready for the 100-yard dash. And the 100-yard dash was obviously double of the 50-yard dash. So what do? We ran up the street where the 50-yard dash concluded, and we ran our asses back to where the 50-yard dash started. Hence 100-yard dash. Had one referee at one side at 150 yards and then another referee at the end. So we take off. Bow. And I get another start. And I told you a couple minutes ago, when I get these kind of starts, I'm impossible to beat. This is a little different. This is a 100-yard dash. I had to pace myself a little bit different. So I take off, and at the end of the 50-yard dash, you're supposed to clap the hand of the referee before you could take off and conclude the race. I clapped the hand of the referee. Warren didn't. He stopped about 2 yards short, did a couple hops, looked me in my face and said, bye-bye, boy, and took the fuck off. Hit my Aunt Hattie's hands at the end of those 50 or 100 yards. My Aunt Hattie called him the winner. I lost my shit. He did not clap the hand of the referee at 50 yards. He should be disqualified. Hence, I should be the winner. Hell, I only lost by a step and a half anyway, even though he cheated. She did not listen. She did not oblige. Warren was the winner. Like I told you, I never had it in my mind that I was going to lose this race. Never had it in my mind that I was ever going to lose, period. Did not know how to handle that loss. So I did the first thing my mind and body told me to do. I went and punched Warren in the fucking face. Drilled him. Bow. Hit him. And I got my ass whipped. I got in trouble. Moral of the story is I don't handle losing well. I am a sore loser. My football team, I'm a Washington Redskins / Commanders fan. I've been accustomed to losing with that team for 25, 30 some odd years. It's been a very painful experience for me. I do not handle losing well. I own a platform, Viral Hip Hop News. My cousin owns Hip Hop News Uncensored. And even though I am so proud and happy for him, I am a competitive person. He has 900,000 subscribers. I have 338. That pisses me off. I want to win. All jokes aside, I'm happy for him. But all realness aside, I am pissed off. I want to win. That's how I am. When it comes to rejection, hold on. When it comes to rejection, I've never been able to handle rejection well. Ever. There's been moments where I've liked certain girls, loved them, and never pulled the trigger because I was afraid to hear no. Held me back a lot, as you could probably imagine. So failure and rejection, two things I did not know how to handle well, I still don't handle very well to this day, are the very things that you hear most when it comes to acting. You're getting rejected far more than you're being accepted. And the unfortunate reality of that is although you have control over a certain aspect of the audition process, the selection process, you really have no control at all. Now, when you get selected to submit an audition for any particular role, they give you a set of sides. You study these sides. You create a self-tape or you go audition in person, and you try to the best of your abilities, convey the character from paper to eyes or from paper to screen as best as possible so that you can connect not only with the character, but to the casting director in efforts to getting the role. And you work your ass off. You memorize the sides. You create the character, you create the person, and you convey it, and you thought you hit it. You smashed it. It's a wrap. Bye. Home run. Go. And 9.5 times out of 10, you hear nothing back. Rejection. And rejection can come from a blunt perspective. Rejection can come harsh. Rejection can come very aggressively. Rejection can also come in a nicely fitted package. It can come passive aggressively. The shit hurts nonetheless. Both of them are very, 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 very painful. So how do you deal with rejection? How do you deal with failure? How do I continue to grow while dealing with such failure and dealing with such rejection? I had an audition a couple weeks ago for a cartoon. Now, if you know me or if you don't know me, cartoons and voiceovers is something that I'm very passionate about. I cannot wait to get into the business of doing voiceover work far more than I'm doing it now. I'm looking forward to starring in a Pixar movie and doing various cartoons on TV networks. I've always been interested and had a passion for doing that. So when I get the first one across my table for a PBS Kids show, I am super excited. I said, I'm going to give this my all. I start researching the project. I'm watching the cartoons for hours on end, trying to hear the texture, trying to hear the tone, trying to convey the emotion that the show gives out as best to my abilities, because they can't see me. They only hear me. So textures and tones and energy is definitely something that I'm honed in on when it comes to the show. I have my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, help me out playing or reading the kids' roles for me, and she did an absolutely phenomenal job. Had a great time, not only during the process of auditioning for that role, but auditioning for the role itself. And the end result, I personally thought, was some of my best work. And when I showed my casting agent, because before you can submit it, you send it to your casting agent for approval. And not only did she love it, but apparently the casting agency president, who also heard it, was blown away and impressed as well. So to say the least, I submitted that audition with a ridiculous ton of confidence. And again, like that race decades prior, I never created an out for myself. It was never a what if I don't, ever. And I guess that's a good and a bad thing, because you don't ever want to put negative energy into your subconscious mind. You always kind of want to think positive. You want to set it. You want to forget it. You want to make sure that you put the right energy towards it, and then you leave it alone. You know, you don't plant a seed and then dig it up and look at it every 5 seconds to see if it's starting to grow a bud. You plant the seeds, you nurture it, sunlight, water, time, you let it grow. I never let it grow. I kept exposing the seed and seeing if it budded. I kept waiting to see if I got this role. I every day that went by was more and more confusing to me, because I didn't understand why I didn't get this role. And then it came to a point where reality set in, because I'm also a realist and I understand, hey, this isn't a fantasy world. At some point, dog, you're going to have to deal with the harsh realities of you didn't get it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about that? So it came a point where I realized I didn't get it. And it hurt. It hurt a lot. And it definitely opened the door for doubt. But it did not hold it open for long. Because as time goes on and as you gain experience in rejection and failure, and I've had a ton of it in my life, and it's kind of put me in the place that I am today to be able to deal with it better than what I've dealt with in the past, right? Is that you have to dust yourself off, get the fuck up, and get at it again. Because there's a ton of auditions. And if you look at some of the best people that have ever done it, prior to them getting to a point where they never have to audition, rejection happened to them as well. And rejection and failure in this business, in life, happens all the time. And it's not the rejection or the failure that matters. And I know this is cliche, but it's so fucking real. It's how you respond to it. Was I going to get down in the dumps and quit and stop submitting auditions and going for auditions, even though I didn't execute that audition the way, or I did execute it the way I wanted to, but I wasn't selected the way I thought that I deserved. And I don't even know the countless amount of other people that submitted audition for that role and for various roles who knew they had it and didn't, even though they felt like they deserved it. We're always going to feel like we deserve it. We're always going to be biased to ourselves. We're always going to feel like we're the ones that should be on top of whatever it is we want to be on top of. But sometimes life doesn't move that way, and it is how you respond to those trials, to those tribulations, that ultimately create what is left on the other side. And hopefully what is left on the other side is a stronger person, a person with more armor to cover them when going through their journey and their tough times, because it will always, always be tough. times. To be perfectly transparent with you, this is a time where not only would the role have been nice for my morale, but the pay would have been nice. Because I'm also a business owner, and business is somewhat slow right now. And I am living in a way that I'm not accustomed to living, especially the last decade or so. And it's different for me because I've been so accustomed to winning. And this is another thing I want to touch on, which is very important. The art of never being comfortable. See, I made the mistake of getting comfortable in 2017 and 2018 when I started my YouTube platform off the heels of finding success with assisting my cousin in his. I learned that algorithm like the back of my hand. I mastered YouTube's algorithm. And I found a ton of success from it, I should say. And then the crucial mistake that I made is that I got comfortable. I got comfortable in thinking because I knew a algorithm and I've mastered an algorithm from 2018, 2017, and I found success from it, and it lasted for a while, that mastering should propel me in 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 into going into 25. And boy, was I wrong. Because while being comfortable, the algorithm was changing right below my feet. The algorithm was changing. And see, this is life. As you get comfortable, things around you change. And if you don't adapt to those changes, you'll find yourself further and further down the totem pole. But the dangerous part about that drop is while you're falling, you don't even know what's happening because you're so goddamn comfortable in something you may have mastered a long time ago. And now that mastering is held irrelevant. This is why it's important to continue to study and hone in on your craft. This is why it is a necessity to never be comfortable, especially if you're out here searching and driving toward a dream and a goal that isn't easily attainable. It takes a different person. It takes being successful in whatever you want to do is different. It takes sacrifice. It takes being comfortable, being uncomfortable, finding yourself in uncomfortable situations, physically willingly putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, seeing how you're going to get out of those situations and creating more armor for that suit that carries you through your journey. I had to embrace the open canvas again. I had to embrace starting over again. I had to embrace learning and having the excitement, the childlike excitement from learning something new and applying that to something I love. I had to get that hunger back. And not that I never ever lost the hunger, but sometimes in getting comfortable, you realize and you think that you're full off of empty calories, but essentially you're starving yourself as well. And you think that you're full, but you don't have any nutritional value to that, whatever you're eating, while being comfortable. Never, ever, ever be comfortable. Sam, I Am Viral Podcast. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I hope I got you through wherever you're going. I like to make these right here, these little personal sessions, at least long enough for you to get to work, get back from work, get through a workout real quick, run on the treadmill, whatever the case may be. I'm starting to stockpile a couple episodes over here. So if this is your first episode, welcome. I appreciate you. I got 4 more other episodes, great episodes, 2 interviews, as well as an additional 2 more of these conversations, personal conversations with myself and you guys. And it's either going to be an interview about their journey, or it's going to be a conversation about something that I could talk to you about and bring a little more light to your day and bring a little more hunger and hopefully motivation to your day. So I definitely appreciate you guys for listening. Share the content. Please share the content. Hope you guys love listening. But if you happen to want to watch, if you want to see my bald head on the video, I do have those available as well on my YouTube channel memberships. Go to Viral Hip Hop News on YouTube, Viral Hip Hop News. Go to the membership icon. I think it is next to the community tab, if I'm not mistaken. Click that membership tab. Go ahead and subscribe to the Sam I Am Viral podcast. It is $4.99, but you see video as well as a bunch of other interactive things I'm going to do to include you guys and get personal with you guys. We're going to have a good time over there. So if that's not for you and you just want to throw me in the whip and listen via ear, hey, I'm all for that as well. Share it if you don't mind. I'm on all podcast platforms, so it shouldn't be hard to find. Sam I Am Viral podcast. I love each and every one of y'all. And like I say on the platform, love yourselves. All right. And I'm out of here. Love y'all. Peace.